Hello and welcome to the second session of this tutorial. Previously we took some basic examples about file in and out and basic processing. Let's carry on and take some further steps in file in and out. We have a question here. Write a Python program that opens the file names.txt. If you remember, we created this file and we added some data to it. And then we need to append now for appending. Here the file should be open for appending. Your program should prompt the user to enter the number of names to be appended. Therefore, we do not just append randomly or random data. No, we need to know the number of lines to be added or appended in this case. And then it requests the user to provide the names to be stored. Here we have file opening for appending, then appending or receiving names to be appended based on a number provided from the user. Let's say 5 names, 3 names, 6 names, whatever. And then finally we need to include in our program, let's say, a mechanism for displaying the whole content after the appending process or appending data. So let's go for a new file and write just this simple comment. This program opens a file for appending. Then it appends a number of lines, number of names based on a user provided value. It also displays the whole content after appending. All right, let's create the main, and we need to open the file for appending. Here we will create a file object that will be used for whatever method we require. Open. We have already learned the process of opening the file and the function used for it. Now names.txt, this will not change. However, this one will change because we are opening the file for appending. Next to that, we need to ask the user to enter the number of names to be appended. Therefore, we have to receive, let's say, a number, which is an integer. It's just a number, pure integer number. And we need to input from the user this count or number. Let's tell the user what to enter. Enter the number of names to be appended. Okay, give some space here. Then we have opened the file and received the count of the names to be added, or the number of names to be added. Then we need to add them or append. The easiest way is to create a loop here for I in range num, and then here what we are going to have is just a loop within the range of the entered number. So let's say the user enters 5, so we have 5 times repetition or 5 iterations, and this is exactly what we are going to do. How to write into the file now, or to the file dot before providing anything, we need to receive the name to be written to the file. I was about to forget. Here we have to tell the user what to enter. We have to prompt the user, okay. Therefore, we need to use the input function. And with the input function, we can prompt the user, enter a name to be appended. All right. Appended. Okay. Then we have received the name. We can write it to the file. We use the file object .write, very similar to when we open the file and create it from scratch. However, this is just for appending. It will not write the data at the beginning. It will write at the very end, the last, next to the last line that we have in our file. Here, write this name, and let's give an escape sequence here so that we have a nice visualization of the data written to our file. Here we are done. We are done with writing. Let's exit this loop, and let's just write a simple statement that we are done with writing or appending the data to the file. Let's just write this kind of simple statement. The appending process is done. And then let's close the file. .close. The last part of the question is asking us about displaying the content. And the easiest way to display the content, since there is no specific requirements other than just displaying, we can open the file for reading. So let's create in file, since we are going to retrieve data, open. And here we provide again the same scenario, the file name, names.txt, and the reading mode. So we have the mode R here. Then let's directly write this one so that we shorten the length of the program. Print, what are we going to print? The entire content of the file, so we can do it by read function. So we have the file object.read will read the entire content of the file. We are done here with processing of the in file. We need to close it. Let me just try to zoom this one a little bit so that you guys can see. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes. In file dot close. We're done with this. Okay. So let's exit. Let's exit the scope and then call the main. Therefore, we can run this program. Let me save and run. The last program we wrote was example 3. This is, I'll keep the rhythm, I'll keep the sequence, example 4. Okay, we are going to append, let's say, 4 more. We had 6 lines earlier, programming languages. So we entered 4, the total number 4, enter a name to be appended. Earlier we added some programming languages. Let's add some more. JavaScript, let's say Ruby, MATLAB maybe. What else? Android could be. Android. Right, now look. So this is the content. I have only one problem here. That means earlier we added one empty line just for to that file, because this is considered as a line. We could have stripped this one. It's not a problem actually, but we appended. Therefore, this line is considered the line, although there is a \n or an escape sequence here. So whatever available in this file, when we append, it will just write next to the last line. The last line was null, therefore we are writing next to it. It doesn't matter, we could have stripped this one, but in our case it's not extremely necessary. We can have other applications to do that later on. Well, let's go to another program, the last program for this session. Use the file used in the previous question and write a Python program to display its contents line by line, with each line preceded with a line number followed by a colon. Well, okay, we have multiple lines in the file that we appended data to it here. We need to display its contents with each line number preceding the line content itself. So 1 colon, the contents of the line, 2 colon, the contents of the line, and so on. All right, let's create a new file. Here, let's just write this program. Displays the content of a file with numbered lines, let's say. Def main. As we did earlier, we create a main method just for formality. This is just a style that I would like to proceed with or write my programs with. Now we need to open the file for reading. In file, I call it, the object equals open. And we provide the file name that we are going to read from, .text, with reading mode R. Then we need to create a count equals 1. We start by 1. This is the count. Now, in order for us to display one by one with the count that we have in the file preceding each line, we can use for loop. Here, let's say for x in our in file. And now what we are going to do is just displaying, but the display is customized, so print what? We need to print the count or number actually of the line. I would call it num better than count actually. We are not exactly using a counter, rather we are just using a number. It doesn't matter actually, but it makes sense. The first thing we need to display is num, and I need to display other, you can say, components or arguments with this print. Next thing we need to display is a colon. Keep some space here. And then next to that, we need to display the content provided from the file. However, I would like to strip the \n from each line. Okay. Here, this will do. However, I need to add the separation between these variables, or you can say arguments in this case. I keep the separation as null, no separation. We'll just display one, let's say, colon, space, then the content of the line. All right, we are done with this loop. Exit the loop, close the file. In file, dot close. Then call the main. Exit this code and call the main. All right, let's save and run. This is program 5. Oh, we have a problem. Let me see. File not found. That means, okay, names not name. I mistyped this one. Of course, it wouldn't work because this file does not exist, and we will. It's good actually. This one came out. You see, file not found. This is an exception raised due to the unavailable file that we are trying to open. We are trying to open a file that doesn't exist, and that's one type of exception. We will explain about it a while later. So for the time being, just I fixed the mistyped name of the file. Let me run. Okay, now look. Oh, good. I forgot something. Well, one thing I didn't do. Well, num, I didn't change this num actually. I have to increment it as the iterations increase, or as the iterations move by. I need to increment num, otherwise it will display all of them 1 1 1 1 if I do not increment it. The first iteration is 1, that's fine, but the next iteration shouldn't be 1, it should be actually 2. In this case I have to add the, you can say, the increment process for this variable. Sorry about the missing part. Let's just run again. This will do. Okay, 1 C, 2 C++, 3 C#, etc. And we have this one as an empty space. This is actually not our fault, because it was previously done by our own intention, because we added for each and every line of those backslash n, or one new line. Right, so that's it for this session, and I hope you guys will enjoy it. Have a good time.